Tony D and Little Joan with a Screenwriter's Rant on Monster High, the movie, which, I'm just going to say it, looks terrible. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's what? It's the Pineys, books 1 through 9, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Yeah, this doesn't look very good. I just, a few days ago, I looked at a movie called Zombies 3. This is that. This is like the same genre, except it's made by Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus instead of Disney. For some reason, movie executives have concluded that kids want to see movies about monsters, but not actual monsters. Just people basically cosplaying as monsters and in high school singing, dancing, and doing things. It just looks dumb. It just looks dumb. The monsters aren't right. You know, if you're gonna do monsters, lean into monsters. Like, do Addams Family at least level of monsters. This isn't even up to Addams Family Monsters level of monsters. This is like you put a bunch of teenagers in cosplay and stuff from the Hot Topic and then thought it would be cool. Maybe back in the 90s, this might have been cool for kids because it would have been edgy and different then, but now? You out of your mind? Literally, I just looked at Zombies 3. They made 3 movies of this. The same kind of thing. People playing teenagers in high school, I should say. They're all in their early 20s, I assume. Pretending to be high schoolers, but and then like they have to find out who the human is because that's the big scary part for some reason. And then there's magic and supernatural stuff, but none of that makes any sense in this context. None of it. October 6th, if you want to torture yourself, on Nickelodeon. Look, Nickelodeon's had some stuff, and I've enjoyed it, but who is this for? Who is this for? It feels like it was written by some women who were goths back in the day. That women in their middle-aged women who were goths when they were when they were kids, and that they thought this was cool, or would think this is cool when they were kids. And I'll remind those ladies, no, you thought everything was lame. And if this had been on TV back in the 90s, you would have burned Hot Topic to the ground and never wore this crap again. It was because that stuff was considered not taboo, but nobody wore it. You looked like a weirdo back then. People look down. That's the whole point. It's amazing. It's amazing how these middle-aged morons in every generation forget what it was like when they were a kid. And then they just do the same damn thing. Oh, this was cool when I was a kid, so I'm going to do it now. Obviously, nothing has ever changed. Back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, when I'm trying to write stuff, I was dealing with people who were writing stuff for, they were middle-aged writing stuff from 20 years ago. Now we've got more middle-aged morons writing the same stuff from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. This is all done, overdone. This has been done so many times. Even the whole bit where the human is the scary thing, that's been done. It's been done. I don't think there's an original thought in this entire thing. And the music is absolute ear cancer to me. Ear cancer. Oh, and they're promoting the soundtrack, so it's a good movie. Yeah, when they promote a soundtrack, the movie's in trouble. Who is that soundtrack for? People who want to torture their victims? I can't imagine a kid. You would have to hit this perfect window of kid to like this movie. It would have to be someone a little immature. It couldn't be older than 14, I would say. If you were older than 14, this would be immediate cringe. Any younger than 10, you really probably wouldn't get it. And so you're looking at 10 to maybe 13 is the sweet spot here. And it would also, it definitely doesn't appeal to boys because they're singing and dancing in it. I don't think that most of them would be like, this is stupid. This is stupid. Why aren't they killing each other? That would have been my response as a kid that age. Well, why isn't the vampire murdering people? I mean, so you got a bunch of hot actors and actresses cosplaying characters that only the most soft of soft kids could think is even mildly scary. So that edge is completely gone. At least if you did it at the levels of an Addams Family, where you're doing the puns and you're constantly hinting at these threats, like at some point Wednesday Addams will just stab you. It never happens, but you get the sense that she's kind of a psycho, but you just never see it. That's kind of the vibe you get with Addams Family. Even the Munsters, to some extent, that kind of thing. It's a Tales from the Crypt kind of creepy fun. This completely misses the mark in every second of this trailer. There's not a creepy moment in this. This just looks like absolute cringe. This looks like middle-aged women trying to write comedy. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible at this. This wouldn't even be funny when you were kids. This wouldn't be edgy when you were kids. If this had been on TV during the days of Hot Topic and goth people would immediately wipe off all the pale makeup, throw away the clove cigarettes and black clothes, and start dressing normal. Being young is about doing the opposite of whatever the adults are trying to push on you. So all you're doing is setting up these kids, like most of them. A few of them will be in on this. The really, really weak, soft ones will go, oh yeah, this is so cool. Most of them will look at this and go, this is dumb. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I watched that when I was a baby. Oh, you want to wear your vampire costume with the pink hair? No, Ma, that's stupid. No, I'd rather wear a traditional dress from the 50s. What? I want to be a trad wife, Ma. That's what this movie's doing, believe it or not. Real woke moment right at the beginning of the trailer where they get into pronoun usage. Brutally bad. I mean, on so many levels doesn't work. Just doesn't work. I mean, set aside the wokeness in general and how absolute garbage it is. These are monsters. If you wanted to do that metaphor, the clever thing to do would have been to come up with new monster pronouns. Then at least you could say, oh, that's kind of cool. They have their own pronouns as monsters. But the writing here feels so lazy, so phoned in, that they didn't even do that. They didn't even do the one thing they could have done to make this a little unique, a tiny bit of creativity. The colors hurt my eyes. The sets, I don't think there's a second of this that isn't on a soundstage. The designs are, look at this. Everything's skulls. This makes me hate Halloween. That's how bad this is. It's making me hate Halloween and monsters. The jokes, I mean, you would have been better off just stealing jokes off the internet. Carlos Mencia couldn't hope to steal jokes this bad. Awful. Just awful every step of the way. I don't know, what is she, a genie? Those ears? Look at this. Just look at it. This is what you get when you have too much money, in my view, no talent. This is and it's a shame because the cast, they're trying to put some energy behind it. They're dancing and singing. These kids deserve better. This cast deserves better. Because, ugh. Can you imagine being in this and having to, use this on your credits? Brutal. Just absolute brutality. Everything about this, I'm voting it down. Voting it down. Bad. Bad, Nickelodeon, bad. And you too, Paramount. What happened? I thought you were turning the boat around. This is the kind of stuff you produce? Okay, 3-act breakdown. There's a new girl in school. It's the werewolf girl. She's half werewolf, which for some reason is a distinction. Yeah, okay, all these friggin' elements. Like 90 million monster elements, but that makes you huge. Oh, that's a huge distinction, everybody, at Monster High. Yeah, that makes sense. Second act, they're looking for the human, which I guess is her because she's only half werewolf for some reason. And then she has to find the monster in herself. It's part of the synopsis. And then she does. And there are songs, they're singing and dancing about it, and I assume some bigger monster that attacks them. Is it the patriarchy? Is enough pink hair to, I don't know, choke a pride parade? Make it stop. Make it stop. Bad, Paramount. Bad. After your recent announcement about how you weren't going to censor stuff, we're not going to censor anything. We're not going to produce anything good either, apparently. Thank God you still have Beavis and Butthead and South Park. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more based takes. I got to go wash my eyeballs. And we'll see you